All right, everyone, buckle up because today we are diving headfirst into the Shedeur Sanders story.
And it's a story that's got everyone talking even before the draft.
Exactly. I mean, the articles you sent over, wow, so much buzz already. It's about his decisions, the speculation.
The whole thing is fascinating.
Yeah, it goes beyond football, right?
Absolutely. You've got strategy, you've got personality,
Yeah.
a little bit of psychology in there, too.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's like everyone's trying to figure him out. And speaking of figuring him out, let's start with the combine.
Ah, yes, the combine.
And the fact that he's not throwing.
Big decision.
Huge. I mean, the combine's this massive event. Everyone's watching, all eyes on these potential future stars. What's the logic behind this?
It's a bold move, no question. You're right. The combine is like, it's almost a rite of passage for these guys. A chance to show off in front of every single NFL team.
Right. Like, here I am, world.
Exactly. But think about it from his perspective.
Yeah.
Immense pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he feels those drills, those standardized drills, don't really show everything he can do.
Interesting.
Like he shines better in a game,
Right, right. And I mean, he even said he wants to be at his best at all times, that quote. I don't know, I almost feel like there's a confidence thing there too. Like, I'm so good, I don't need to prove anything at this event.
Oh, there's definitely an element of that, yeah. And remember, scouts and GMs, they love a mystery.
Oh, they eat that up.
100%. This decision makes him stand out.
It does, for better or worse.
Right. Some might call it arrogance, others might call it confidence.
Sure.
But one thing's for sure, it puts him under a microscope. His pro day performance, now that's going to be even more crucial.
Oh, absolutely. It's like all the chips are on that one day. But okay, he's skipping the throws at the combine, but he's still going to be there. He'll be doing interviews.
Right. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like he's using the combine as a platform, even without throwing a single pass.
I think you're spot on. He's shaping his brand, shaping his image. And those interviews, those might actually be more valuable now with all the questions surrounding him.
Absolutely, because those become less about, how fast he can run or how high he can jump and more about,
Who he is.
Yeah, who he is, what kind of leader he is, how he handles tough questions.
Exactly. Teams want to know, is this guy mentally tough enough to be our quarterback? Can he handle the pressure of the NFL? Those are big questions.
It makes you wonder how much those drills really tell you about a player anyway.
It's the big debate, right? You've got your standardized evaluations, measurable data, easy to compare.
Yeah.
But then you've got that it's factor that you just can't measure.
You can't put a number on it.
No, you can't. And in a way, by not doing the drills, Shedeur's making teams focus on that side of things.
It's a power move.
For sure.
Okay, so he's skipping the combine throws, but not skipping his pro day. He's basically betting it all on that one performance at Colorado.
He's in familiar territory, working with his receivers, calling plays that he knows. There's definitely more control there than at the combine.
Yeah, that makes sense. But isn't it a bit risky, too? He's limiting his exposure, right? Smaller group of scouts.
Right.
What if some teams just don't even show up to that Colorado Pro Day?
It's a trade-off, definitely.
Yeah.
He's banking on his performance being so good, so undeniable, that it'll create buzz all over the league.
Yeah, make everyone regret not being there.
Exactly. And it has worked for some quarterbacks in the past.
Right.
But with Shedeur, the stakes just feel higher,
Yeah, the spotlight's bigger.
Oh, way bigger.
I'm feeling the pressure just talking about it. And then there's the draft itself. He won't even be there. He's chosen to have a private celebration with his family, just like his dad did.
It's an interesting choice. You've got this huge public event, right? Millions of people watching. And he's stepping away from all that to be with his family. It says a lot about him.
I think so, too. It's like he's not letting the NFL dictate his experience. He's choosing to define that moment on his own terms.
And it adds to the mystery. There are no cameras, no analysts dissecting his every move.
Yeah.
We're all left wondering, how's he feeling? What's he thinking?
It keeps people guessing, keeps people talking.
For sure.
So we've got this prospect who's not showing all his cards, not giving everyone the full picture. Some people might find it frustrating, but he's created this buzz, this intrigue. You can't ignore it.
And that's what makes this so interesting. We're not just analyzing his football skills. We're analyzing his approach, his personality, his whole strategy for navigating this moment in his career.
Yeah. He's playing the game before the game even starts.
Exactly. It's a masterclass, really, in brand management. But, we can't forget the heart of this.
Right.
Is a young quarterback trying to make it.
Exactly. So we've talked strategy, the mystery,
Yeah.
but what about Shedeur, the player?
Hmm.
What can we expect from him on the field?
Well, from the scouting reports you sent,
Yeah.
it seems like the general consensus is raw talent, but room to grow.
Okay, so he's got the physical gifts, right?
No doubt. Arm strength, a major plus.
All right, strong arm. Check.
Scouts are saying he can make all of the throws. Short, intermediate,
Mm-hmm.
deep.
Hmm.
He can really sling it.
I've seen some highlights. And his mobility really jumps out. He's not just standing in the pocket. He can extend plays and make something happen when everything breaks down.
And that's so important in today's NFL.
It is.
Defenses are so fast, so complex.
Hmm.
You need a quarterback who can buy himself some time. Avoid the rush.
Yeah, you got to be able to move.
You do. And from what I've seen, Shedeur looks pretty comfortable doing just that.
Nice.
Doesn't panic, keeps his eyes downfield, and makes plays on the run.
That's the kind of quarterback you want.
Absolutely.
He sounds like he's got that gamer mentality. You know, the kind of player who steps up in big moments, wants the ball in his hands when the game's on the line.
And that's where those intangibles you mentioned before
Yeah.
really come into play.
The leadership qualities, the confidence.
Exactly. The ability to bring your team together.
Yeah.
You can't teach that. You either have it or you don't.
Right.
And just based on his college career, his demeanor,
Yeah.
it seems like Shedeur's got it in spades.
But even the best prospects,
Oh, yeah.
they've got things they need to work on. What are the scouts saying are his weaknesses?
Well, decision-making seems to be the biggest concern.
Okay.
Sometimes he holds onto the ball a little too long, tries to force a play instead of, taking the check down and throwing it away.
Is that something you see a lot with young quarterbacks?
All the time. They come from these college systems where they're the star.
Right.
They're used to making those big plays.
Mm.
But the NFL, it's different. Defenses are faster, smarter, more disciplined.
You can't get away with as much.
Nope.
So is it more about adjusting to the speed, learning to read defenses better?
Exactly. Making quicker decisions.
Okay.
It's not about lacking talent. It's just experience. And that's where good coaching comes in. If he lands with a team that has a good system, a strong program for developing quarterbacks, I think he can overcome those weaknesses and do really well.
And that brings us back to,
The Deion factor.
you can't ignore it. His dad, NFL legend, Super Bowl champion, and now his coach, that has to play a role, right?
It's pretty unprecedented. Deion's been very vocal about wanting the best for his son, and rightfully so.
Of course.
Wants him to land in a good situation, a place where he can succeed.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be thrown to the wolves.
I read an article where Deion basically said he's only looking at teams with strong QB development programs.
Right.
He's not letting him go somewhere where he'll just ride the bench or...
Right, get stuck.
Yeah, stuck behind a veteran for years.
It makes sense from a father's perspective. He wants to protect his son, see him do well. But it also makes you wonder, how much influence does he really have?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
Is he calling the shots? Steering Shedeur towards certain teams?
And how are other teams reacting to that? I mean, some general managers might not love that level of parental involvement.
It's a tricky situation for sure.
Yeah.
On one hand, Deion's experience, his knowledge of the NFL, could be a huge advantage for Shedeur.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what it takes to succeed at that level. Can't offer guidance.
Yeah.
But teams need to feel like they're drafting Shedeur, the player, not Shedeur as an extension of Deion.
It's almost like there are two drafts happening.
Right.
The public draft, talent, potential, and then this behind-the-scenes thing where Deion's trying to, I don't know, orchestrate the best landing spot.
And that just adds to the mystery. We don't know how much control Deion really has,
Right.
how much influence. It's all speculation at this point. But it definitely adds another layer to this whole thing.
Another layer to the story. So we've got the combine, the pro day, the father-son dynamic. It's like a Shakespearean drama, but in the world of football.
And we haven't even talked about his draft stock.
Oh, right.
Early on, he was projected top 3, maybe even number 1 overall.
Wow.
But with all these unconventional moves,
Yeah.
his stock's been all over the place.
Up and down.
Up and down.
Yeah.
I've seen some mock drafts where he's not even in the top 10 anymore.
Oh, wow.
Some scouts are questioning his decision-making, his consistency.
Right.
And then there's the whole unknown factor. How much of this is a real concern and how much is just because he's doing things differently?
Hard to say.
Hard to say. But here's the thing.
Okay.
Even if he drops a little in the draft, doesn't go top 5, let's say,
Yeah.
I still think he ends up in a decent spot.
Okay, why is that?
Because teams are always looking for quarterbacks.
Makes sense.
And a quarterback with Shedeur's talent, his background,
Yeah.
his potential, he's not going to be available for long. So some team's going to take a chance on him. And they might even get a steal if he falls further than people expect.
He's betting on himself, betting that his talent will show through no matter where he ends up.
And that kind of confidence,
Yeah.
that belief in yourself,
Yeah.
that's something you want in a quarterback.
Right.
He's not afraid to take risks, to be different.
And that might be exactly what some team is looking for.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the player, the dad, the draft stock. But what about the teams? What's their perspective on all of this?
That's the big question, right? We're looking at this from the outside. But what's going on in those NFL war rooms?
Yeah.
How are GMs and coaches reacting to all of this?
Right.
Are they intrigued? Are they skeptical?
Frustrated.
Maybe even a little frustrated.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we need to try and understand next.
Yeah.
We got to put ourselves in the shoes of those decision makers and see how they're evaluating Shedeur Sanders.
Right. So let's imagine we're an NFL GM.
Big shoes to fill.
It's draft day. Pressure's on. And you've got to make a decision about Shedeur Sanders.
You've got those scouting reports, game film,
Yeah.
notes from the private workouts.
Right.
You just get this feeling, you know?
That something's missing.
Yeah, you don't have the complete picture.
He's a puzzle with a few pieces missing. And some GMs, I bet they hate that.
Oh, yeah.
They want that data, those clear comparisons.
Stuff you get from the combine.
Exactly. And Shedeur skipping those drills, it throws a wrench in everything.
100%. They're used to a certain level of control, a way to assess talent, you know?
Yeah, a system.
A system.
Hmm.
And here comes Shedeur doing things his own way, making them adapt.
Do they see that as a red flag, like arrogance, not coachable?
It really depends on the GM, their philosophy. Some might see it as weakness, like, oh, he's scared of the competition.
Right.
But others, the ones who think outside the box,
Yeah.
maybe they see it as confidence.
Belief in himself.
Exactly.
It's like he's saying, I'm not going to play your game, you play mine.
And a coach might love that. You know, a team that values individuality, creativity, someone who's not afraid to challenge things.
Belichick and Brady, right.
Yeah.
They didn't care about doing things the traditional way.
And look how that turned out.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Sometimes those players, the ones who don't fit the mold,
They end up changing the whole game. They bring something new, something no one's seen before.
but it's a gamble. Big time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're betting on potential, that he can take those skills and succeed in the NFL.
And that's where Deion comes back into the picture.
Right.
Some GMs, maybe they see Deion as a positive. Like,
Yeah.
okay, he's been mentored by one of the greats.
He's had access to the best of the best.
But there's that other side, you know.
The over-involvement?
What if Deion's calling the GM after every game, trying to control things?
It's a worry, for sure. Teams have to be careful about that. Set boundaries.
Who's really in charge?
Exactly. And they need to know that Shedeur can stand on his own, be his own person, separate from his dad's legacy.
It's tough, right? Weighing the good with the bad. The excitement and the fear of not knowing what's going to happen.
And that's what makes the draft so interesting. It's not just about talent, you know.
Right.
It's about people, understanding what makes them tick.
Psychology.
100%.
Yeah.
Can these guys handle the pressure of the NFL? It's a big question.
Okay, so what's your take? Will Shedeur's gamble pay off?
It's too early to know for sure. We'll see where he lands.
Yeah.
The coaching,
Right.
how he develops.
Right.
A lot of factors.
But one thing's for sure.
Makes sense.
He's changed things up. Challenged how the whole draft usually works.
He's not afraid to be different.
And that's what makes this so captivating. He's more than just a player.
Oh, yeah,
He's, what? A conversation starter.
definitely. He's making people think, question their assumptions. Whether he succeeds or fails, he's going to leave a mark.
So we've gone from the combine snub to pro day scouting reports to, I don't know, psychoanalyzing these guys. From family dramas to the NFL war room. It's been a real deep dive.
Yeah.
And I'm even more, I don't know, intrigued by Shedeur Sanders now.
Me too. It's a reminder that sometimes the most interesting stories are the ones that don't follow the strand.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this journey, everyone. And remember, the draft. It's only the beginning. The real story starts when Shedeur steps onto that field
Game one.
and starts writing his own chapter.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.